Hello and welcome everyone. Happy homecoming week. Go Tigers. I want to welcome everyone today for what really is an historical moment here at Iowa Wesleyan's campus. We are adding a new facility for the first time in quite a while to our campus, and it's a big moment. And I think as we look throughout the room, we see friends of the university, we see faculty, we see staff, and we see quite a few alumni as well who remember this campus as it's grown over the years. And to be able to sit here in this moment is a moment we're going to remember for a long time. So we're excited to celebrate that with you all today. Today we're going to have a few remarks from some very amazing people, including a student, our president, a wonderful, wonderful, generous donor, Linda Juckette, and as well as a formal dedication of the building by Reverend Sowers of United Methodist Church. So sit back, enjoy, and we're really happy that you're here to celebrate this moment. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you one of the people that will be benefiting from this building, that's already lived here for a little bit, and I really got a feel for this place. This is Mr. Anthony Washington. He is at a Baldwin, Missouri, which we say St. Louis, right? Because no one knows where Baldwin is, right? Perfect. He is one of our RAs here at Juckette Hall, which, by the way, this is now known as Juckette Hall, which is sort of fun. He's part of the orientation crew. He is a junior, the class of 2020, and his major is physical education and exercise science. So please welcome Anthony Washington.
You guys hear me okay? Yeah. So I just want to start by thanking Linda Juckette for this amazing gift here at Iowa Wesleyan. The facility is amazing, and it's been a pretty good time living here so far. Although the building's only been open for about 2 months now, it's already impacted the campus greatly. In previous years, the school started overflowing because the increase in students that started coming. And, sorry. Because of this, the dorms have started to reach the max number of residents within the halls. Along with providing more living space, the building has a few features that are nice for the students to have that is different from McKibben and ST. For example, the rooms have individual sinks, which I think only the suites has. And then also you share a bathroom with one other person, which is really nice and very convenient. As for my residents, I have only heard positive feedback from absolutely everyone. No one's had any negative feelings towards Juckette. Everyone's happy to be here, and they're glad the facility exists now. One day that I specifically remember was I walked out and my residents had kiddie pools out in the back. This is a giant grass pitch. They were in the kiddie pools, they were throwing around a football, kicking the soccer ball, just having a good time. From personal experience, I enjoy being able to live in Juckette. I would say the building's culture is very different than the other dorms. I feel like with McKibben, you get more of a rowdy because it's all boys and it's kind of chaotic sometimes. And then ST can be the same way now that the boys also live over there. But Juckette's culture is more quiet, laid back, relaxed, and everyone's pretty peaceful over here. Being one of the first set of resident assistants in Juckette, I feel like me and Mia can help set the tone for future years. I feel like how we come out this year is going to determine how Juckette continues to grow and how they build the community. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Now I'd like to welcome the president of Iowa Wesleyan University, President Stephen Tight.
Well, thank you, everybody. And Mike, Mr.'s just fine. I've been called a lot worse, so that'll work. And Anthony, thank you very much. Anthony's getting a workout this weekend. In addition to homecoming, it's also the fall retreat meeting of the Board of Trustees. And the theme that the board has been engaging this weekend is one of diversity and inclusion. One of the things that we're really proud of at the university over the last several years is really growing the diversity of this institution. From 2013, about 13% of our student population were students of diverse backgrounds, and today it's 48%. To include about 118 students from 31 countries around the world that are here. And so last night, we had this wonderful privilege of, we had 5 of our students representing different backgrounds and experiences as a panel to address questions with the Board of Trustees. It was just fabulous. Anthony was one of those folks, and do we have anything else scheduled for you this weekend?
I think that's about it.
Well, we'll get on that. And also, so it's a great joy to welcome everybody here today. I especially want to welcome State Representative Dave Heaton, and also an Iowa Wesleyan distinguished alum and recent recipient of the Presidential Medal for Outstanding Merit here at the university. Representative Heaton, it's great to have you here. Thanks for being with us. Also, we have several of our trustees here today as part of this important ceremony, to include the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Annette Szynski. Annette is here. Thank you for being here. And then also the vice chair of the Board of Trustees, Christy Vilsack. Some of you may know her, and so great to have you here, so thank you. Iowa Wesleyan, if you read some of the history books, it starts a little like this, and it says that the story of Iowa Wesleyan is a story of community. Its founding was an act of community, and its long history is an affirmation of community. And I love that, and I love what that represents. And what I love about today is that our time here today is another affirmation of community. And this is an embodiment of what it means for community to come together. This has been in the making for about 2.5 years or so, and it started at Rotary, New Rotary one day, when this handsome, kind of lanky guy came and bumped up to me, Brent Schleisman, and our esteemed city administrator. And Brent, he came up to me, grabbed my arm and said, "Hey Steve, listen, I just had this exciting conversation with Linda Juckette about some possibility here for Iowa Wesleyan." And that's really what began those conversations. And so, Brent, I want to lift you up because, in all the years I've been doing this work, not only here but in other institutions, I don't know if I've met a more committed city leader and administrator than Brent Schleisman. He's been so fabulous for because Brent understands partnership and collaboration and coming together, and so and that's when that began. So at that point, Linda and I didn't know one another. And so Brent brought us together, and we began having the conversations. And I don't know, we probably talked for about 15 minutes, and a couple things went through my mind. I'm like, I like Linda. Because Linda's about getting it done. And then I was a little afraid of Linda. And so I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I don't upset this woman. But over the years, we got to spend a lot of time together and be in conversation. And then it was really, I think, this friendship developed because, there was a lot of work that obviously she was involved in the creation of Savannah Heights and all of the work and some of the leadership challenges that come with that. And then just some of the challenges that we deal with at the university that any organizational leader does within his or her organization. And so we had the opportunity to really, I think, kind of be kindred spirits in that process. And in that process, we also, in that friendship, got to know each other and talk to one another about our families. And so one of the things I'm excited about is to finally meet Cole today. And I know more about you than to know how much I know about you. So I feel like we're like, you're like my brother or something. And so Cole, to finally meet you is really a privilege, and to have you here to share in this moment, not only with your mom, but with this community, so you can see how much her leadership and who she is as a person means to this community is really a privilege. So I want to welcome you here today too. But in these conversations, this is more than just a building coming to the university. This is really about, I think, a sense of purpose that Linda has, one I think that is a shared purpose, both that she and I have, but also with the university. She was very clear. She could have done anything that she wanted to with Pleasant Manor. She could have sold it and made you know, a nice profit off of that and had some income come in. But what her commitment was, and she'll talk about this, I'm sure, a little bit more, is about how can I get back to Mount Pleasant, and how can I give it, and to give it in a way that lifts up really a mission-centric institution, and a mission-centric institution that really was committed to Christian values. And that's how the conversation you know, continued. And so with that, we had conversations about how might we best utilize this facility. And those conversations are still ongoing, but what's happened over the past couple of years is that the enrollment at the university has continued to grow. And we found ourselves over these last couple of years really strained for residence hall space with our students that were coming in. And so we thought at a minimum this facility was going to be an important way we could use it this year was to help us with some of that capacity issues on the housing. But again, we found ourselves kind of in July wondering, you know, how, you're not quite sure yet what to do, but we needed to move pretty quickly. And again, in comes Brent Schleisman. And we said, Brent, this is what we're thinking. We need to move pretty quickly and on the permitting. And so, boom, I think within 24 hours or so. Yeah, we were looking for, you know, a permit maybe just for a few months to help us with some housing because we were working on some other things. And they said, hey, don't worry about a few months. Let's just do it for a whole year. And that's the kind of partnership and cooperation that we get with the city. Mayor Brimhall wanted to be here today. I know he's out of town and couldn't be with us. So that's right now, I think, you know, we've set on that path. And then really our grounds and facility staff who are here, and Sean Gray is here today. Sean, could you raise your hand a little bit? Our team, yeah, I'd like to because Sean and his team went to work in about, I don't know, what, you had a couple of weeks, didn't you? Yeah. You were like, no pressure at all, man. It's just a couple of weeks, we can get that done. He came in and just did a miraculous job of, you know, of getting the building just prepped a little bit, clean. We had to do a lot with locks and different, I mean, it was a lot of work, ordering furniture and those kinds of things. And it was really around the clock that the facility was really prepared. And so again, it's just inspiring what happens when people come together to make something happen. And then the other benefit that we have is this beautiful facility, this care facility on the east side of town called Savannah Heights. And if you haven't had the chance to go through there, I really encourage you to do that because it's a state-of-the-art facility and it's a place that is a home not only to the residents that were here, but to even more residents in the region for us. And it's a huge impact on our economic well-being here as a community. And so what's important that you know too is that in this, you know, in this very, very generous gift from Linda, this is the first $1 million gift in over a decade to Iowa Wesleyan University. And why is that significant? Because, you know, I mean, any gift that we receive as a university is important. But I want to share with you why it's important and why it's important now. Because as a university, I think, you know, we've all been together now for about 6 years. And you know, when we were together in 2013, it was a really difficult time. It was a time of transition, but it was also a time of really contemplating the future of the university. And we had to do some really difficult things in order to create a future for the institution. And again, together we did those things. And since that time, you know, the enrollment has doubled at the institution. Our first-year enrollment has continued to go up. Our retention is at an all-time high. And so we've had a lot of success at the university. And, however, our university, like a lot of universities, are in this context of higher education. It's really tough times out there for colleges and universities. And while we've enjoyed that success, we are still trying to turn around this institution. This institution is critical to our region as the only four-year university, and it remains financially fragile, and it's important that you know that. And so that's why we work so hard to keep it just going and going and going and going, because we will not be a statistic. We will not be a statistic. We need to keep going and keep pressing. And the only way that this university can accomplish what it can continue to accomplish is with people like Linda Juckette. People who see the value and see the mission, believe in it, and connect in it, and say, yes, I want to be a part of that, and I'm going to invest significantly and philanthropically to make sure not only that the institution sustains itself, but that it thrives, that it becomes a prosperous institution for this region for years to come. And you know, over the last year or two, we've been talking about the economic impact of this institution in the region of being $55.1 million a year. Well, we had one of our trustees who runs a policy center up at the University of Iowa. They just took a look at that study because they thought it was a little odd. And what Chuck reported this morning is actually, if you really calculate, really more properly and really look at the social and human capital costs and impact of what's going on, the institution actually has a $67 million a year economic impact in the region. So this is not about Iowa Wesleyan for Iowa Wesleyan's sake. This is about Iowa Wesleyan for the sake of the rural region of southeast Iowa. And right now, it's because of people like Linda and Linda's leadership and her generosity that help us ensure that this institution continues to grow and thrive for decades to come and for generations to come. And so, Linda, for that, we appreciate you for the place in which you come from and give this. Your deep Christian spirit, Christian heart, Christian convictions. And it is great to have you a part of this university. And I love it. I thank you so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to introduce to you Linda Juckette, who will say a little bit more. And before you come up, I also want to say, because those who know me know that it goes on a little longer than it should. But I also want to not forget a very important person, and that's Tom Juckette. Because Tom, it's really because this facility, at Linda's direction, and it was not a request, at Linda's direction, I want that, and that's what I love about Linda, is that it is the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall. And so it's also in the legacy that Tom left during his life that, that really is also infused in this building, along with Linda's passion and commitment and generosity. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to introduce to you Linda Juckette.
Thank you, President Titus. Anthony, thank you. Don't ever give up. Don't ever take no for an answer. Go right back to that door and knock again and say, you know, I have another idea. Don't ever give up, Anthony. You know, wow, August 14th, 1972 was the first day that this building opened in Mount Pleasant. My husband and his two brothers had a dream. I had a dream too. That started November 1st, 2014, when I took over the Iowa division of this company. And, you know, I'd have to say that quite a few of my employees at the time were like going, ugh, you know. I was much more comfortable on a tractor, literally. I did my own hay. I was an organic farmer, and I was quite happy with that lifestyle, I have to admit. So when I got the call to take over, and I kind of pushed a little bit to take over also, I had a dream. I spent 2 weeks walking around this building, and anybody that worked here would tell you, oh yeah, she did. I prayed. I was praying. God has been very good to me, and I wanted to be very good back to God. I wanted to feel His vision, what He had for me to do. So with walking around that building, that next phone call I made was to Brent, the city manager. And I kind of waltzed in his office one day and I said, hi, I'm Linda Juckette. You don't know me, but I'd like to get to know you and your town and what's going on here in Mount Pleasant. I have a dream, I have a vision, and I need to make that vision a reality. And I could only do that with Brent's help, Christie's help, and Representative Eaton's help. I didn't know this business very well at all. It was my late husband who did all of the negotiations, the lobbying, all those things. So I was very quickly thrown into that role. And I also had a child, a young adult, that I was raising after Tom's death, which is now in his second year of the master's over at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So, but with that dream, it all started, you know, and it started because of Brent's compassion for us as a business here in your city. And so we spent, I don't know, 3/4 of a day going around looking at land and looking at you know, what Linda had in this vision in the back of her mind. And so without his leadership and you know, his knowledge of this area, this wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened, definitely, because I said to Brent, I said, you know, I said, I want to donate the old building. And he said, you want to what? And I said, I want to donate the old building, but here's the catch. It has to be to a Christian organization. It has to be to somebody who will take care of it, and it has to be for an education purposes. Who is that? I'll get right back to you. So that's where President Titus came in. And Steve and I sat down, and like he said, we talked, we came to an agreement, and then the calendar got pushed up way, which was fine because we were ready to move, and so it made us hustle our bustle a little bit more too. But you know, this is a great, great city. I love Mount Pleasant. I love that southeastern part of the state. So we're very fortunate to be down here. We're very fortunate to have Iowa Wesleyan, and I applaud them, and I hope they go for another, you know, 200 years. We got to keep going. I absolutely agree. So with that, I'd also like to say that the Juckettes would like to sponsor a scholarship for nursing student every year. So I'd like to make that also part of the program. It's no secret, it is no secret in our state and in our United States that there's a real nursing shortage in our country and in our state especially. So the more nurses we get trained and can get those kids, I call them kids, I call up all you guys my kids actually. I said the more we can get those kids out in the field and train them and get them started in the nursing, whatever nursing, if they don't take up geriatrics, you know, go into another field, kudos to them. But we need to get them within those parameters of education. And then we need to get them into the workforce. So we'd like to facilitate that with the new building, of course, and teach those kids, you know, when they come into the new building, and we can do education. One of the things that I told my architect, and I think he thought I was nuts, but I said, I want to put in a real movie theater in the new building. And he said, you want a what? I said, I want to put in a new movie theater, one with real cup holders, the real big seats, the big screen. And he goes, oh, okay, all right, that won't be easy to draw in. And I said, it'll be a piece of cake. I said, but that building will have a real movie theater. So that's great for not only the movies, but it's great for education purposes. They can come in and we can put up a computer, we can punch in the education process into that computer, and it comes up on the screen. So that helps the nurses, and it helps facilitate Iowa Wesleyan then to expedite those classes. Those kids can come through there quicker. So we want to always offer that. And again, I thank you, I thank the city, I thank the inhabitants of our city. It's a great place to live. And thank you all for being here today. So Christy, there's one little ditty that I am going to do, and it is just one little line. Please. It is one little line, one little line. So, well, there's two songs. So there's two songs. One of them is, I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living. So that's just one. So you gotta dream those dreams. You gotta dream those dreams. Just the first line of that other little song, and it's so true. When it all comes true, just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. So anyway. Nebraska today and has to be back tonight because he leads worship at church on Sunday. Tonight for church on Sunday, but he's a great son. And without him, after I lost my husband, I don't know. I would have been a really lost soul because he really kept me going, kept me focused, kept me in the right direction. So he's a true, true blessing. So thank you. Love you.
Before the event, a couple of us were over in the corner saying, "Do you think she'll sing?" We don't know, but we hope she will. Thank you.
And I'd be happy to sing.
Moving on. Speaking of song and song and prayer, we want to dedicate this building in honor of that Christian spirituality in which you referred. And it's important to us as a university to sort of celebrate this moment and dedicate this building and have a point in time in which this building became part of the university. So to begin that process, I welcome Reverend Deb Stowers from First United Methodist Church.
Let us pray this prayer of dedication. Holy God of providence and generosity, we are so grateful today. We are assembled on the extended campus of Iowa Wesleyan University in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, and in the building that once was Pleasant Manor Care Center. It served all of southeast Iowa as a site for long-term, skilled, professional, and loving care for elderly men and women, our fathers and mothers, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents. Through the providence of Linda Juckette, this building has been remodeled and repurposed as the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall, a residence hall for Iowa Wesleyan University, which has been bursting at the seams with enrollments of new students and record high numbers of returning and transfer students. Holy One, we lift up the immense efforts of the Iowa Wesleyan community that have gone into this abundance of students and the quality of higher education provided there, which makes students want to come here and stay here. We are so very thankful and delighted with the generosity of Linda Juckette, who saw the needs of Iowa Wesleyan University, the possibilities that could be found in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, and responded so directly and generously. We hold up the work and labors of architects, contractors, and skilled workers who initially built this facility to be strong and to last throughout the years. And then the work and efforts of the facilities members of Iowa Wesleyan who refurbished and repurposed this building from serving the needs of the elderly to serving the needs of the young. May the efforts of all combine to assure that this building, the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall of Iowa Wesleyan University, will continue to be not simply strong and lasting as a structure of bricks and blocks and cement, but embody a new life, a new purpose, and a new mission of service to the residential needs of the Iowa Wesleyan students and in the future. Who knows what it may become. May the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall be in true ways a home away from home, a place of safety and security, a place of study and learning, a place for companionships and growth in lasting friendships. May the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall be a residence hall in which students, parents, alumni, staff, faculty members, administration members, and members of the Board of Trustees may take pride. Holy One, we thank you for what you do and how you give and how you share with us. We thank you for how we have learned from you to to give and share as well. We seek your blessing as we together, members of the Southeast section of Iowa, the Iowa Wesleyan community, dedicate the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall for its new purpose and mission within the Iowa Wesleyan community. And we rest assured, Holy God, of your continuing providence, generosity, and grace. Amen. Amen.
So to memorialize this moment, maybe not the right word,
Maybe
but commemorate, that's why I have them around. To commemorate this moment, we have a wonderful plaque that will hang on the wall of the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall. Adam, if you'll bring it up, and then what we'd like to do is one thing I learned when I moved back to Mount Pleasant was that there was this person named Christy Ray who loved to do ribbon cutting. And so in light of all that, because we have to do ribbon cutting, it's very important. We love to introduce the plaque to Linda and Cole, if you'd come up, and President, if you would join us, and uncover the plaque.
This will hang as soon as you come in, right where the flag is as you come in those doors. It reads, Tom and Linda Juckette Hall, in appreciation to Tom and Linda Juckette for their dedication to Iowa Wesleyan University and the community, for their generous gift of this site to enhance the student learning experience, dedicated October 5th, 2018.
If we could have members of the university, the Board of Trustees, as well as, I think, Brett, if you please come up as well. And Sarah. Sorry. As well as all of our chamber ambassadors that are love to be part of these ribbon cuttings as well. We're going to formally open up, even though we've been living here for a bit, we're going to have our grand opening of the Tom and Linda Juckette Hall with the cutting of our ribbon.
You ready for that?
They're real. You'll lose a limb.
So before we start, I just want to say, Linda, here we are again. Here we are again. Number 2, girl. I know. And if you think Christy and Linda are done, stay tuned. We got more of these to do. I do want to say that President Titus alluded to the fact that Linda can be scary.
No, I did not say that.
I'm going to tell you from my heart, if you think Linda is scary, you haven't got to know Linda. Linda's a wonderful lady and a dear friend of this community, and thank you. Welcome. This is number 2, lady. Cut this ribbon on this beautiful Tom and Linda Juckette Hall.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you all for coming. We have refreshments in the back. We also are giving tours of the building. If you'd like to join us, you can see some of our staff near the wings and they'll give you a tour. But thank you all for coming today.